One small clause in your health insurance policy could destroy your financial safety net. Room rent limits, a detail often overlooked, can cut your insurance claim in half. Families usually find out too late, when they're already overwhelmed by a medical emergency. But today, I'm here to change that. I'll show you how this hidden clause works, why it matters, and how you can protect your family from its devastating impact. Hi, I'm Jiten Modi. Over the last 20 years, I've walked alongside families during their most vulnerable moments, when they're relying on health insurance to cover life-saving treatments. I've seen the relief on their faces when claims are approved in full. And I've seen the heartbreak when hidden clauses like room rent limits lead to massive deductions. My goal is to ensure your family never has to face that heartbreak. Let me tell you a story that still stays with me. The Sharma family thought they were prepared. Mr. Sharma needed cardiac surgery. They had a health insurance policy with 3,000 rupees room rent coverage per day. At the hospital, the basic room cost 6,000 rupees. It seemed like a small difference, just 3,000 rupees more out of pocket each day. They chose to pay it, thinking it was manageable. But the shock came when their 12 lakh rupees claim was processed. The insurance company reduced it to 6 lakh rupees. Every expense, doctor fees, surgery charges, medications, was cut in half because of one clause, proportionate deduction. It wasn't just about the room. That single decision triggered a chain reaction that wiped out their savings. This is what room rent limits do. They set off a domino effect. When you choose a room that exceeds your policy's limit, your insurer doesn't just reduce the room cost. They reduce all related costs by the same percentage. This isn't just a technicality, it's financial devastation. And it's completely avoidable. The Patels learned this lesson the hard way. Mrs. Patel needed knee surgery. The hospital rooms available were 7,000 rupees per day, but their policy covered only 4,000 rupees. They didn't think twice about the difference, until their 8 lakh rupees claim came back with a 43% deduction. They had to pay 3.4 lakh rupees out of pocket, money that was meant for their daughter's education. All because they didn't know about the room rent clause. Even critical care isn't immune to this trap. Rajesh's father needed emergency ICU treatment. The ICU cost 15,000 rupees per day, but their policy's room rent cap still applied. Their 10 lakh rupees claim was reduced by half, leaving the family with 5 lakh rupees to pay on their own. Imagine being in a life or death situation and having to worry about how much the room costs. No family should ever face that burden. And then there's the issue of where you live. Hospital costs vary widely from city to city. A basic room in Mumbai might cost more than a deluxe room in a smaller city. The Singhs found this out the hard way when they moved from Indore to Delhi. Their policy, which worked fine in Indore, suddenly felt inadequate. The room rent limits no longer matched Delhi's higher hospital rates. A detail they never thought about when buying the policy became a major problem. But not all stories end in heartbreak. The Mehtas were prepared. They chose a policy without room rent limits. Yes, the premiums were slightly higher, but when Mr. Mehta needed hospitalization, they had complete freedom to choose any room. Their entire claim was approved without deductions. They didn't just protect their finances, they protected their peace of mind. Policies differ from one insurer to another. Some waive room rent limits for maternity care. Others apply them even in emergencies. The Kumars were lucky enough to discover this difference before their twins were born. One policy capped room rent even for maternity, while another waived the cap for childbirth. By choosing the right policy, they saved lakhs. Availability of rooms can also lead to unexpected costs. The Desais faced this issue during the peak of the COVID pandemic. All the basic rooms were full, and only premium rooms were available. They had no choice but to take a 12,000 rupees per day room. Their policy covered just 5,000 rupees, leading to massive deductions. Careful planning could have saved them from this financial strain. Your hospital network matters too. The Jains made a smart choice by selecting a network hospital with room rates that matched their policy's limits. Their cashless claim process was seamless. Meanwhile, their neighbor chose a premium hospital outside the network. They ended up paying a significant amount from their pocket. The same treatment, two very different financial outcomes. Room upgrades during treatment can also complicate things. Mrs. Mehta started her hospitalization in a basic room. But complications arose, and she needed ICU care followed by recovery in a deluxe room. Every room change affected her claim differently. Understanding these impacts in advance can make a world of difference. So, what can you do to avoid these traps? Start by understanding your policy's room rent limits. Review them carefully. Match them to the typical hospital cost in your city. If you live in a high-cost city, consider opting for a policy with no room rent caps or higher limits. The slightly higher premiums are worth it when they protect your family from massive deductions during emergencies. Different policies work differently. Some offer flexibility, others don't. This isn't about choosing the cheapest policy, it's about choosing the right one for your needs. And if you're unsure, get help. Through the link below, you can book a free consultation with me. Together, we'll analyze your policy, match it to your city's hospital costs, and ensure your family is fully protected. No one should have to worry about finances during a medical crisis. Room rent limits may seem like a small detail, but their impact is anything but small. They don't just affect the cost of a room, they affect every aspect of your claim. Understanding this now can save you from heartbreak later. Let's make sure your family is never caught off guard by this hidden trap. Your health insurance should protect you, not surprise you. Let's ensure it does.